Welcome back to Chiefs fans before we were cool. The darkest timeline.
And you were making me seem dramatic when I was wearing my hoodie a couple weeks ago. At least I didn't go all forced choke on you. Tore my
Uh,
ACL. I'm out for the season.
no, don't do it. Oh man. Um, man, it's been a rough week. We were talking before. Lost my both my playoffs for fantasy football. Not a fantasy
Mhm.
football podcast, but glad that you at least have that to look forward for the rest of the season. I'm not sure what to look forward to. Like the Chiefs aren't in the playoffs. It's just a weird time. Like
Yeah.
go
Sorry,
Josh Allen. Like I
yeah,
don't know.
I've kind of become like we talked about who else we cheer for.
Yeah,
So after the Chiefs Lions game, there was this creator who made a video talking about the Lions game, and he just was talking through. He's like, "Man, we didn't do this very well. We didn't do this very well." He's like, I know some people are complaining about the calls, but I'm not going to make a big deal about the calls. They are what they
yeah.
are. Like whatever. I was like, dude, that I respect that. So I subscribed to his channel, and he
Okay.
streams all the Lions games. So I've been like listening to him stream the Lions game. I've kind of
Okay.
become a bit of a Lions fan
Really?
from from his little podcast. He
That's
just
so
got
fun.
over. He's grown a ton. I mean, comparatively, because he had like back at that week, he had like 200 or 300 subscribers, and
Okay.
he's over 1,000 now. So,
Hey, I'll just send me a link, man. I'll join it.
okay,
We'll put it in the comments.
there you go.
We can all
So anyway,
become Lions fans. Everyone, join the pride. Here we go.
joined the pride. So I've kind of been enjoying listening to him talk about the Lions.
Yeah.
I mean, they're struggling too a bit, but
Hmm.
obviously they're still in a pretty decent spot to make the playoffs. Um,
Yeah.
so cheer for them. As far as the AFC, I'd probably cheer for the Bills. That's probably the team that I would like to see make it out of the AFC
Yeah.
now that
If
the
Joel
Chiefs
was
aren't
here,
in
he
it.
would just say, well, at least the Bengals aren't in the playoffs.
That's true. I mean, they haven't been the Bengals or in the playoffs for 3 years straight now.
Yikes.
That's
Yeah, Joe
crazy.
Burrow is talking, like going a little emo. Poor
Yeah,
guy.
just
Which, I mean,
talking.
that would be so hard. Like, I mean, as a
Yeah,
competitor, like he's so good and his team's let him down and he's, been injured a lot. Man, that's rough.
yeah, yeah. Well, and some of his injuries are because they don't give him a good offensive line. I mean, he gets hit a
Yeah.
lot. He hasn't had a good offensive line for like his whole career, which is
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
So,
That's rough. Yeah. So I guess we're Bills fans or Lions fans.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So that is what it is. Yeah. So the man, yeah, it was a hard game to watch. Just like sitting there, we're just slogging through offense, struggling again.
yeah,
Um, and we get down, it's a defensive game. It's fine. Like we were clearly playing it that way, which was good. Don't have really any issues until Mahomes forces a throw to Kareem Hunt by the end zone again when we could have been up three, and then they go back and score a touchdown. And then we're driving up, and Mahomes tears his ACL,
yeah.
which add insult to injury. I don't know, man.
We did, and we had some good plays. Like there were some good completions in there and stuff. Again, it felt like there's a lot of coverage sacks, what I call them, what I've heard them called, where we had like no one gets open in the
Hmm.
first 4 seconds. So Holmes is scrambling or whatever, and then he gets sacked. Like we need to figure whether that scheme or those guys need to step up a little bit. We need to figure something out. Like we just don't have those. Oh, somebody's open. Hit the open guy. It just feels like it's so hard. It's so
Hmm.
hard. All of our good plays are like Mahomes scrambling around and then making a completion late or stepping up in the pocket, like about to get hit and making a completion late. Like we're not making any of these. Oh, well, there's
And then
that.
they dropped it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
what were you saying?
There was that Thornton play that worked out pretty well where he was wide open,
Yeah. He would be
and then
nice to have back.
he got lit up. Um, Bryce got lit up a couple times.
Yeah, that was rough for him. I think he just they got into his head. They were hitting hard.
I
Like
know.
they were kind of pushing the border of what is acceptable. And then like I mean, obviously the one of their linebackers got taken out of the game because of
Yeah,
that. Like it was clear they were trying to just beat up on the Chiefs receivers and stuff, and you're just kind of like, what's going on there? I mean, it's a division. It's not like it doesn't seem like a lot of those hits on Rice were dirty. It's just interesting. So they wanted more, you know. Chiefs were all banged up, and there was blood in the water, and sharks come out. Um,
yeah.
it's rough. It's rough. You know, it's weird. You know, this especially this early to have our season over. Really
Hmm.
odd, but
Yeah.
it's not too crazy. You know, we talked about the Bengals, really good quarterback, really good offense, and they've had some pretty serious roster construction flaws that's kept them out of like it's been part of it, but they've also just had some injury luck. And we've been pretty blessed with injury stuff. Like Mahomes played through the ankle for one of the Super Bowls, but like we've been relatively healthy. Like we haven't lost Travis Kelce for any season, you know, super significant. And this is the first year where we really had to do a lot of shuffle. The offensive line just got obliterated. That was the thing early in the game that I was just like, oh, we're in trouble. Like we
We
just
we
kept losing
we did
people.
pretty decent pass blocking still, which was kind of
Yeah.
surprising. But our run game was non-existent, and that's another part of our offensive line. Like even if
Mhm.
they pass blocked well, they cannot run the ball for anything.
Yeah, we need a better, probably some younger, like good running backs, you know, somebody who can do a little bit more, you know. Pacheco was a great story as a seventh rounder. But it's been pretty clear for a while that he still has some limitations. That's
Hmm.
why he was a seventh rounder, particularly his vision. And Kareem Hunt, like, man, if we would have had him all those years and if he wouldn't have been
Right?
lied and, you know, kicked someone,
Yeah,
yeah,
he wouldn't have been a complete douche and then lied about it.
yeah, and then we would have had him all these years. Like we would have had a
Yeah.
really good running back that fit our scheme well, and that would have been really nice. But now he's doing his best. He's hungry. It seems like he really wants to win now. You know, he's been with the Browns for so long. I don't know what that does to somebody's psyche, but um,
I don't know.
like it just you know, we have Tyquan Thornton. He's fighting out for it, but Rashee Rice, you know, getting dropping things he shouldn't. Travis Kelce dropping some, you know, losing concentration. I think we just kind of collapsed.
Yep.
Um, and that happens. Like it happens to Super Bowl losers particularly, but just Super Bowl teams all the time. This NFL is based on parity. When you're drafting 31, like 32, like you are getting like 30 people are getting their pick of the lot before you get a shot, right? Every round. Like every round. Like that is hard. Like you really have to outdraft people to
Hmm.
be able to be make a better pick 30 picks later, right, than everybody else who's had a shot at a player that they wanted. That's a good prospect or things like that. Like there's just been a lot of things like I've like man, I'm gonna struggle with certain names, but like there've just been in drafts, there'll be like a cornerback or Brian Branch is an example for the Lions, I believe, right?
Hmm.
Like he fell into the first round, but when you're drafting 61, you're not gonna get that. Like you're not gonna be able to pull that off to get the 45th pick or the 40th pick or you know. So it just gets really tricky with some of those. So they like someone a little bit better at 31, you're
Right.
not going to get the value to the next one. Like it really affects your ability to do stuff. And there's teams that have done pretty well with it, but um, so I kind of hope we get some earlier draft picks. And I don't know exactly how, I haven't done the math quite yet. Um, and maybe that'll be something we can look into more in depth, but what our
Yeah,
best draft pick might be.
probably somewhere in the middle. I mean,
Right. It's not going to be like a super high pick, but we're not in the playoffs, so that affects that's like 14 teams.
yeah,
So then you're at least like in there, and then you start kind of working your way through. How much worse is our record going to be than any of the other people who just missed the playoffs, kind of thing.
yeah.
And with Gardner Minshew as our quarterback the rest of the way, nothing really to play for. I mean, I don't know. It could be pretty bad if we only have 6 wins. We could be in the teens. I think, math wise,
Yeah.
pretty low in the teens, and that would be
I mean, if we don't win any more
nice.
games, if we have 6 wins on the year, that's yeah, I mean that's worse than I mean most teams. I mean, teams that are worse that I can think of are the Giants and the
Hmm.
Saints and the Cardinals. Cardinals might be the same actually. They might have 6 wins. I don't remember. Um, they've at least been kind of lucky. So
Hmm.
the Jets, I mean, we'll
So ones that have more than 6 right now, we got Chargers, Broncos, Colts, Texans, Jaguars, Ravens, Steelers. Miami
I
is
think
at 6, Buffalo Bills, and the Patriots. And then in the NFC, we have Eagles. Cowboys are at 6 with a tie.
to their head.
Um, Bears, Packers, Lions, Minnesota Vikings also have 6. Um, the Buccaneers, Panthers, and
Which
then
one of
Rams.
those will automatically be in the playoffs. So
Right, right, right. Rams, Seahawks, and Niners. So if we count the number of teams, so it's just lower record again. I mean, we'll probably play to beat Tennessee. You can't really tell players not to try to win.
oh yeah, no, I don't think you should. I think we
I
should
don't think you
play and
should.
see what we can try and
Yeah,
do. Like,
yeah. But
but
just
we have a beat up offensive line, or we're playing with Gardner Minshew,
yeah,
and I mean, we like you said, we don't have a lot to play for. People are gonna let up a little bit.
yeah.
They're gonna be playing to not get hurt to a certain extent.
Okay, so there's currently 8 teams below us in wins, and there is 1, 2, 3 teams tied with us for wins. So again,
Yep.
hypothetically, you're looking at 12
Yeah.
or something. Could easily be something in that range, in the teens, somewhere between like 10 and 15, 16, which is like, I mean, that's going to be a better draft. Now we are missing some picks, I think, from some trades we've done. I think it's just like fifth and sixth or something, or sixth and seventh.
Yeah.
So,
I'd have to. I'm not
but
sure.
that's not too bad. Like, I mean, again, at that point, you're kind of, that's where the difference is a lot less evident. But when you're in the first 100 picks and you're going 11, 43, you know, and then, yeah, my math is failing me right now, but like 70, whatever, instead of 31, 62, like it makes a big difference. And maybe this will be a really good draft. I think of some of the other drafts where we pulled out some really good players.
Yeah.
You know, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, some of those. Like if we can get another draft where we hit on 2 or 3 people that are really good, a good running back, another like maybe an elite edge or defensive tackle, like we're in range for that, where that is in play. Thankfully, we lucked out with Josh Simmons, it seems, last year, so we don't have to use it on that, although that wouldn't be a bad play either.
Yeah.
Like, you
I
know,
mean, maybe not a tackle, maybe more like a guard.
right, if you have a super elite guard, I'll have to look at we'll talk about the draft more. I'd love to look at some prospects and like again, think a little bit about that. Again, our podcast at this point, you're not we're not making the playoffs. So
Yeah. Why do people even do podcasts for teams that don't make the playoffs every year? It's ridiculous. Honestly,
I had
this
a
is all
guy
my
who
fault.
welcomed me to being, the life of a Cowboys fan. It's like, now you get me.
There you go. Honestly, this is all on me. Uh, Actually, probably more on Joel because when Joel was in the podcast,
Dude.
we made the Super Bowl every year. And
Mm.
then the year that I take over, we don't even make the playoffs. So I
This is what I
think
was
that
thinking about
that's
though
I
today.
think that's on him for quitting the Chiefs.
The little bit of a conspiracy theory, but you know, it is something I talk to my students about where because two things happen at the same time doesn't mean they caused each other.
Mm.
But
No, correlation is causation. There's one thing I know.
someone learned a little bit different things at home than I did.
I don't know what you're
What
talking
book were
about.
you reading?
I'm just saying. Just
Ah, yeah. So here's what I was thinking about though, and I think this hopefully will be kind of helpful for us as we think about this as we process it. There's a level we have to process it, which is kind of funny. The fact that we have to process it speaks to how good we've been,
yeah,
right? Like that's not like a same old, just very unexpected. Had high hopes for this team. The team had high hopes for it, right? They thought they were the best team that they've had for a while, and yet things didn't bounce our way. We lost one score games. People drop passes that don't normally drop passes. You know, there's a lot of variance in NFL, and it's built for parity. Like I said, the draft is just one way in which it's built for parity. Having a hard cap is another thing that kind of pushes for parity, and yet it doesn't feel that way because of how good, dominant the New England Patriots were, right? And then
right.
the Chiefs just kind of jumped right in and kind of carried on that dominance, and we even had Tom Brady come in and snag a Super Bowl again, after that. So um, from us, which was sad. But point is, like, this is not necessarily the norm. Like there have been runs historically. They're usually a lot shorter lived, right? And
Right.
and yet, and so they're that's why people talk about the Cowboys, right, in the 90s and different teams in the past. Like it's impressive. So what the Chiefs have done for these years. And there's been a lot of memes that compare, you know, Mahomes tearing his ACL in his ninth season
To
to
Brady.
Brady doing the same thing, which different context in some ways, but also like players get injured, and we've had actually pretty
Yeah.
good injury luck over the seasons.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing with Brady, it's like, hey, it's the same thing. They both missed the playoffs with a torn ACL. But like, I think the Patriots were like 11 win team and missed the playoffs or something like that with Brady. Anyway, it's
Yeah,
we're probably not going to make it anyway. It's just
yeah,
people like to tote their narratives, um, but
yeah,
yeah, no, it is. I mean, I've said it many times. Anybody 10 years ago would sign up for the success we've had, even if like if we said, hey, and with Mahomes at quarterback, we will win 3 Super Bowls and make it to five in his career. Like
yeah.
people would be like, "Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm all for that." Like
Aaron Rodgers would have done
Aaron Rodgers would have loved to have done that instead of just
that.
winning one, making one a winning one.
Yeah,
So, it's easy to get greedy when you've had tons of success.
yeah,
And even if this has been an amazing, enjoyable run, even if they never made another. even if they never made the playoffs again, which would is very, very unlikely.
Yeah,
Um, it's a
maybe
great
not
run.
this. Yeah, maybe not this year. Next year, Mahomes' recovery could be up to 12 months,
Yep.
9 to 12 months. So it could be back at the beginning of the year and more or less, or miss a few games and then like be there. But um, it's also possible we have another lost season next year. Continue to retool,
hmm
continue to kind of build and
I'm
and
so
get rid of some
has
bad contracts.
yeah, has this changed any of your opinions that we stated previously about moving on from players, or do you feel like it's about the same?
Yeah, I mean, we need to get rid of Juwan Taylor. I don't know that it's like I just feel like when you have a player like Chris Jones, he plays with you till he's done, you know,
Yeah,
and he should. Like, and maybe there has to be some sort of a financial conversation, and he needs to stop being like, I want to be top of the market, like after this contract goes through. But I think if he's committed to doing it, I think Chiefs should just keep him there. He can still take over a game. Like he was
yeah.
one of the bright spots, against the Texans
It's
especially.
just a question on what you could potentially get for trading him. If,
Yeah, I
like
don't
you
think you're
said,
getting a
we're
lot with that big contract at this point.
yeah, you're
Not
probably
worth
right.
it. But Trent McDuffie, like I'm still like I think that becomes a much more interesting conversation. Again, young ascending player, we typically re-sign those players, but wouldn't be a bad decision.
Yeah,
Jalen Watson has also been really good, and he's going to be cheaper because of his injuries and stuff like that. Um, so I love Trent McDuffie. Like, if I were to be sure that Trent McDuffie was playing with us, he would be the jersey I would get. Like, I like him as a player. I think he's great. I think it would be a good decision. If we could get, again, no, maybe not Sauce Gardner, but if you get a first round pick from a not great team, right?
yeah,
Like, I'll take a 15 or a whatever, like anything below the 20s for a Trent McDuffie. Like that's that's pretty good trade value. I mean, you at least get the same pick back that you had used on him, more or less. Um, we use like a 23rd pick or something. We trade up to like 23 or something. So if you can get a pick even, 10 spots lower or something, like again, the process is fine. Um, but I mean, again, he's so good. He is a very elite. He does have some limitations in the way that we used him this year. Like we
yeah.
saw against CeeDee
He's
Lamb.
not he's not quite an elite number one. He
Yeah,
can't quite keep up with those speed guys on the outside.
yeah. Physically, he's a little bit short and he's just a little bit slower. I mean, I still think maybe we should have just kept him in the slot and just make him like lock that down, have the best slot corner there, but I'm not expert in some of those things.
Yeah.
So sorry. Were there any players that you want to talk about in terms of like keeping or trading or
Yeah,
resigning?
I guess it definitely with him, but them there being a good chance we'll miss some of the first beginning of the next season. It does make me more inclined to move on from players, I guess. I don't know that there's anything that specific, like you said. It all comes down to what you get for them, right? And if your players even want to move on or willing to move on or whatever.
Hmm.
But but yeah, moving on from some of our pretty good players to try to get some just draft picks and um,
Yeah.
see what
Brett Veach has been
happens.
pretty good. Like
Yeah,
like nobody hits 100. That's 100 on draft picks. I think overall, like we've had some busts, but we've mostly had pretty good hits. Late in the first round, we've had a few with FAU and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'd like to get a running back if you're like, I just feel like the Chiefs this year have learned the wrong lessons a few times. Like, or just even in the run, there's certain lessons they didn't really think about, or they like went to an extreme. Like we think of the contract for Jawan Taylor. Like we went all pass blocking, right? Somebody had a really good pass blocking. We went young, which is part of Brett Beach's philosophy, because it's a lot easier to live with a big contract on a young person that can still at least run pretty fast than for an old person that gets injured or like is just totally goes in decline, right? And that's just thinking. We need a running back. So if we can sign a running back to a good deal, or we can draft one in the third or fourth round. Like this year, we should have done a draft. We should have done running back. It was a big hole, and yes, we can make it work with Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. Like there were some really good running backs in the fourth and the later rounds. Like we could have really used a Kyle Monangai, or there's backs that we could have used there, and maybe he would have been a little redundant with Kareem Hunt because they're both kind of power backs. But um, like I don't know, Trevion Henderson, he was too early. But see, this is what I'm saying. Like that probably was an option to us this year. Was like one of the elite running backs because obviously Josh Simmons was a slam dunk pick, but then your next pick's not for 60 more, right? So unless you trade a fourth rounder or something, you're not going to get up into there to get the Trevion Henderson or um, any of the other picks, right? Um, Amari
Yeah.
Hampton, I think, got picked in first round. Anyway, um, so maybe we can get a really good running back and get that going to make life easier on Mahomes. So we'll see what happens for the next 2 years. I'm really okay. Like as much as it's kind of hard to say with Mahomes still in his prime. If we have two lost seasons, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think. I'll see. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on Travis Kelce?
I'm kind of assuming he's going to retire. I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be my assumption,
Yeah. It would
especially with
be.
Mahomes missing some of the next season, potentially missing some of the next season. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. He was considering it last season. Uh, he played better this year than he did last year,
Yeah.
minus some key drops. But but he seemed like he got a step back, and maybe that made it more fun enough for him. Like he felt like he could still compete to want to keep playing. I don't know, but I I would still put the odds at better than 50-50 he retires. So
Yeah.
we'll see what
Working, doing
happens.
all that work to come back to catch balls from Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I don't know. Maybe Jacoby Brissett might have earned himself a starting contract. I don't know, but like if you had somebody like him, then maybe. Or
yeah.
just Jameis Winston for the fun.
Shoot, go for it. At least it's fun to watch your team.
Yeah.
I think some of those bad teams should just take Jameis Winston. I don't care if you're losing games. You'll fill the stands better. People want to
Yeah.
come watch it because you never know what's going to happen. You could beat any team and lose to any team.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Kelsey decides to do. Obviously, um, there's a lot of he has a lot going on in his life, so
Yep.
never fault somebody for deciding he's ready to be done and move on.
And I think that's like a really good transition to something I was thinking about, and I think would be a good ending for this week. Sports is something that can really get in the way of real life.
Yeah,
And it's also something, I think, especially, for me, Achilles heel sometimes is spending too much time on fantasy or some of these other things or just watching too many football because then it makes me want to watch more football and then like whatever. And there's a little bit of a decision there. Like I don't follow other sports in part because I know I spend a lot of time during football season
yeah,
really getting into it. And so there's some moderation there, but at the same time it's like it's just a game. And like I can't control the fantasy. You can't control who's going to catch the ball. Like you can't control you're going to make a
right.
lot of decisions on the football field and GMs are going to make a lot of decisions on personnel and they're not going to hit it every time. And dynasties are rare because it's really hard to win, to have the level of success we've had.
Well, and some of it, like even when Tyreek left, we got a lot of picks for him, and that really helped us
Yeah,
stay competitive. Like we owe a lot to Tyreek even in the years after he left
yeah,
because of that haul we got for trading him away.
yeah.
Um, and so when you think of that, when you think of our dynasty at this point, Kelsey, good chance he's going to retire. You think of Chris Jones, who's declining, even if he's still can play. You think of Tyreek Hill, who's been gone for a couple years now, but we've enjoyed some of the effects of his trade, you know, since that. Because I don't know if it was one of the same trades, but that next year was that year we got McDuffie. I don't
Mhm.
think it was that trade, but or that pick or whatever. I'm not sure,
We
but
traded one of the picks to move up to get McDuffie.
okay. So it's part of it,
Yep.
and so all of those things. Um, we're gonna have to draft some people that end up being superstars.
Yeah.
I mean,
And the ball has to bounce our way a little bit. Like there's luck involved. We as much as you give people credit for being so good and Mahomes credit for being so good, we have lots of examples of playoff games where, the Ravens were probably better than us,
yeah,
right? A couple of the years we won. They just fumbled it away or, say Flowers taunt. Like you just, it's it there's especially as we think of our playoff success, I think there's a level where you can say the Chiefs were good enough to get into playoffs to get pretty high seeding most years, and that's a lot of skill and organizational functionality and
yeah,
stuff like that. But like similar to fantasy playoffs, there's a level where it kind of just is like you get there and the things roll your way or not, and you could have
yeah,
planned perfectly, and then your superstars bust, and you can't do it. And this year, like everything just went wrong that could go wrong
yeah,
and it ended with an injury, which is the worst, obviously late injury, late in the season. It's rough, but I hope the front office can learn the things they need to learn from
yeah.
this. Like,
I do think getting a new offensive coordinator in just for new ideas would make a lot of
yeah,
sense. We've had Bieniemy or Nagy basically the whole
yeah,
last 8, 10 years and
yeah,
10 plus years probably. And so maybe getting somebody else in that might have some new ideas would be a good idea. Not saying that someone's going to be necessarily better than Nagy, but just something new might be needed because did feel predictable a lot of times.
yeah,
And like I said, our plan plays, people weren't getting open, and whether that's a personnel issue or if that's a scheme issue, I don't know. But there wasn't easy, hey, that guy's open. You know,
yeah,
very rarely were we having those.
yeah. They
So
kind of figured out a little bit. It seems like potentially like Rishi Rice cross, like it doesn't seem like we had those automatic Rishi bullet throws and stuff and RPOs and stuff like that. So we'll see. And maybe people will have to make decisions like play more out of the pistol than shotgun, is something I've heard people talk about. And it makes sense to me. If that's what the best teams are doing, then we copy them for a little bit and we throw our own wrinkles. But we want to have an offense that's as good as the Rams or, again, I don't know, pick a team. But um, and you're right. The man, we had mostly zone beaters, it seems like, with personnel. And so maybe there's a level where we need to find some X receiver that's more that plays that way, you know, um, and be a little bit less with the gadgety plays with maybe Xavier Worthy's kind of like that. I mean, I think if he was used a little differently, he might be better. He's better than like a McCole Hardman, but like you can kind of see their roles have kind of functioned similarly.
right. Well, and Mahomes was hitting on some more of those deep shots
Yeah.
too.
Yep. So yeah, but I think the goal for all of us in life and in football and these things is to grow as people. Like, so as fans, it's probably a good thing for us to grow in terms of how to deal with failure after having such high expectations, right?
Yeah.
Like we have to adjust. We have to grow in our expectations and maybe be okay not being the best for a couple years. And I would just say for fans who've been kind of waiting for the Chiefs to lose, also grow as people. Like, especially with the Mahomes injury, I work with kids and sometimes they're at least a little bit more honest than adults about how they feel about a situation. And um, even, there's most of them I would say, man, I just feel really bad that Mahomes got hurt. But most of them are still trying to dance on the graves a little bit of the Chiefs. It's like it made it a little complicated for them because they're always like, yeah, they missed the playoffs. I'm so happy. And oh yeah, sorry about Mahomes. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like grow as a person, like grow as people. Think about priorities. Like I'm as personal, like, and again, I'm kind of being forced into it. Like it's gonna be kind of nice to have a couple weeks, especially the holidays, where I'm not thinking about football really. Um, have a little bit more of an extended break there, but we'll see. I think it'll be interesting to see how some of the young players play. Hopefully, we make that adjustment and just start. Let's see if Brashard Smith is really good and he can be the new Pacheco, right? Or he could, grow into more running
Yeah.
between the tackles. Again, be a little bit less predictable. Figure that out. That'd be great. Issa Pole, like maybe he's a really good guy and we get rid of, I mean, we still are going to be playing um, Jalen Moore, but, Juwan Taylor's probably out. Maybe Issa Pole beats out Jalen Moore and he's our new tackle or yeah. So that offensive lineman. So we'll see. Like it'll be kind of interesting to see how that goes. I'm gonna keep watching the games, and I'm gonna
Oh,
just
yeah.
enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy seeing the Chiefs play and um, see maybe the last games of Travis Kelce. Maybe we'll get a good vintage like 100+ yard game for Travis Kelce. Let him go out really well. I'd love to see that. Is there anything you would love to see? We're running short on time, but anything you'd love to see as we look at the end of the season?
I mean, just kind of what we've been talking about. People, maybe people can loosen up and just make some more plays. It just would be nice to see some more uh some more of our playmakers making plays, I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
Xavier
you know,
Worthy. Let's have some crazy bombs to Xavier Worthy.
yeah,
Come on, Gardner Minshew. Do your best J Jameis Winston impression.
there you go.
I don't know, but it's been rough. It's a little rough week, but we're here with you. We're feeling it. The darkest timeline's still not that dark. So,
No.
without any more delay, how about them?
Chiefs.